Hello and a warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global TV live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. The political crisis in Rivers State appears set for a resolution after the parties involved signed a peace deal at a meeting held at the Presidential Villa, Abuja on Monday. The meeting, called by President Bola Tinubu, was attended by Governor Sim Fubara, his predecessor Nyesom Wike, and other political leaders in the state. Aside Fubara and Wike, others who signed the resolution document include the PDP chairperson in Rivers State, Aaron Chukwuemeka, and the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martin Amaewulu. The resolution was also signed by Rivers Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu and a factional Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Martin Chike, the APC chairperson in Rivers, and the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, also signed the document. President Bola Tinubu has said the federal government is taking measures to elevate the high cost of transportation by granting waivers to operators in the air, road and rail transportation systems. President Tinubu gave the assurance during a meeting with members of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. According to a statement issued by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngalale, the consideration was challenges faced by travelers during the festive season. The Speaker on the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, has said the 2024 budget would be passed on Saturday, December 30th, 2023. He said this as the House resumed plenary on Tuesday, December 19. This was as he passed a message from the Committee on Appropriations to various committees of the House that they must conclude and submit their reports on the budget defense by agencies of government by 8 p.m. today, 19 December 2023. The Speaker said other budget-related activities like compilation, processing, and harmonization would take place in between. Global TV will keep you updated with details shortly. The Niger State Governor Mohamed Bago has presented the 2024 budget estimate of 613.3 billion naira to the State Assembly. Bago, who described the budget as a budget of the future, said the budget would drive the government's program for a new Niger State. The governor presented the budget on Tuesday to lawmakers. At the budget presentation, where government functionaries and the 8 emirs of the Emirates Council were present, Bago announced to the audience that he should henceforth be called Farmers Governor, in line with his determination to transform the state into a leading farming state. The Speaker of the Niger State House of Assembly, Sarikin Daji, in his remarks assured the governor and audience that the budget would be thoroughly screened and passed within 1 week. The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has disclosed plans to review activities of primary health care and routine immunization. This was disclosed at the quarterly review meeting held in Abuja in collaboration with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Fauza Lukman has details.
The quarterly reviewing meeting is in conjunction with the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Healthcare Delivery to make significant contributions to the development and strengthening of primary health care in Nigeria. The meeting saw major traditional rulers in attendance, with Dr. Saad Abubakar, the Sultan of Sokoto, in his remarks, saying,
"Issues of vaccine like the HPV and whatever it is, we will at the closed door meeting discuss such things, see what we can do. Because there are already some controversies, people writing things in the social media. So at the closed door meeting, inshallah, we'll discuss some of these issues, see how we will also arrive at what we should tell our people. We are the representatives of the people."
Speaking on reducing diseases through primary healthcare services, the Minister of Health and Social Welfare said preparations are underway for the training 120,000 frontline health workers.
Some of what we are going to do in the period ahead includes building the frontline health workforce. We are planning In fact, as we speak, preparations are underway for retraining of 120,000 frontline health workers at the primary healthcare level. We're expanding the primary healthcare facilities that will receive direct facility financing from roughly about 8,000 at the moment, which we would work to make functional to start with, and expanding them to 17,000, almost 18,000 by the end of 4 years.
Meanwhile, the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Muyi Aina, told reporters that the agency is on health system revamp project, adding that barriers need to be removed for the usage of the services.
There are accessibility issues. How do we make sure the services are taken to them and they can reach it? For specifically to outbreaks that you mentioned, the responsible thing to do is what we are doing. We are mounting outbreak responses in terms of campaigns, but it's one thing to do campaigns, it's another thing to do a good campaign. You cannot do a good campaign without collaboration with the communities, that give you access, but that also mobilize the people to come out and receive the trusted interventions.
The critical role of traditional and religious leaders cannot be underestimated, as it serves as a bridge for engaging the people at the community level. Fauziya Lukman, Global TV News.
At least 4.7 million girls have been vaccinated against the human papilloma virus, also known as HPV, in the first phase of the vaccine rollout in Nigeria. The rollout, which commenced in late October, aims to reach about 7.7 million teenage girls with the life-saving vaccine to protect them against cervical cancer and other related diseases. The Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Muyi Aina, disclosed this at the fourth quarter 2023 review meeting of the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on Primary Healthcare Delivery in Abuja. Aina said as of last week, about 4.7 million teenage girls had been reached with the vaccine across 14 states and the Federal Capital Territory, stating that although there was an initial strong pushback by anti-vaccine campaigners, the traditional leaders ensured accurate information reached parents, guardians, and adolescents. The FCT chapter of the Nigerian Medical Association (NMA) has called on the National Assembly to enact laws specifically aimed at addressing and preventing organ trafficking in the country. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja on Monday, the chairman of the FCT NMA, Charles Ugwuanyi, said with specific laws, Nigeria can make efforts towards eradicating organ trafficking and protecting the well-being of its citizens. Ugwuanyi said the existing law governing organ transplants in the country is limited in depth, hence unable to address emerging issues, noting that it only requires the donor to be above 18 years of age and the fact that there is no financial inducement for the donation. The Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja has barred former Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development Pauline Talin from holding public office. In a judgment delivered on Monday, the court condemned Talin's disparaging comments against the judiciary concerning a decision of the Federal High Court in Adamawa State last year. The Federal High Court in Yola, Adamawa State Capital, had nullified the candidacy of Aishatu Dahiru, widely known as Binani, as the All Progressive Congress governorship candidate for the last general election. However, Talin was dissatisfied with the court verdict, a development she had described as, quote, kangaroo judgment, urging Nigerians to reject it. Delivering judgment on the case on Monday, the court described Talin's statement as unconstitutional, careless, reckless, and disparaging. Former Minister of Power and Steel, Olu Agunloye, may soon face charges of corruption and forgery as he spends his fifth consecutive day in detention after submitting himself to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Agunloye surrendered himself for interrogation on 13 December, a day after he was declared wanted by the Commission over corruption allegations regarding a failed multi-billion-dollar Mambila hydropower project. EFCC sources said charges have been drafted and would soon be filed in court and served on the former minister. The sources said he was declared wanted because he jumped the administrative bail granted to him. No fewer than 61 migrants, including women and children, have drowned following a shipwreck off Libya. The International Organization for Migration, IOM, said the boat had set off from the Libyan city of Zara with about 86 persons on board. The route offers migrant entry to Europe via Italy. The United Nations agency said most of the victims of the accident were from Nigeria, Gambia, and other African countries. IOM spokesperson Flavio de Giacomo said more than 2,250 people died this year on the Central Mediterranean migrant route, adding that a dramatic figure which demonstrates that unfortunately not enough is being done to save lives at sea. Some retired soldiers who fought on the side of the federal government during the Civil War have threatened to embark on a protest on January 15, 2024, over their unpaid pension 40 years after the war. The veterans, in a statement by their national coordinator, Babawande Philip, and National Secretary Okewi Bayo, lampooned the federal government for forsaking them despite their sacrifices to keep Nigeria one, stating that they are displeased with the way the successive governments have treated them, adding that despite several letters and other entreaties to call their attention to their plight, they have been neglected. You're watching News Circle live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all our social media platforms using at Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the News Circle returns, block SIMs without NIN, NCC, Direct, MTN, and others. This news continues with more stories right after this break. Stay with us. Come back to News Circle. The National Working Committee, NWC, of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has insisted that fresh elections be conducted to fill the 25 seats vacated by 25 of its lawmakers in the Rivers State Assembly. This was part of decisions taken after a meeting of the NWC in Abuja on Tuesday. Global TV will keep you up to date with details of the Rivers crisis. Dignitaries from all walks of life are arriving the Son Township Stadium to witness the official coronation and presentation of staff of office to the 21st son of Ogbomosho, Oba Gandhi of Alabi Olaoye. Leading the dignitaries is the former Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Oni of Ife, Oba Enitan Adeyeye Ogunwusi, the Olu of Warri, Ogiane Atuwase III, the Olu Ibadan of Ibadan land, Oba Lekan Balogun, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde arrived the venue alongside the former Vice President. In a related development, the Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde on Tuesday presented the instrument of office and staff of office to the new Sun Ogbomosho land, Oba Gandhi Olaoye at Ogbomosho Township Stadium in Ogbomosho. Makinde had approved the selection of Oba Olaoye from the Olaoye ruling house on September 2nd, while the kingmakers in the ancient city, led by the Ariago of Ogbomosho High Chief Sobalaje Otolorin, installed him on September 8th as the new Sun of Ogbomosho land. Makinde, while presenting the staff of office to the new Sun, said he will now hand over the instrument of office and staff of office to Oba Gandhi Olaoye Orumogege III. On the foreign scene, the EU has announced formal infringement proceedings against Elon Musk's X platform under a law cracking down on illegal online content after identifying disinformation related to Hamas' October 7 attacks in Israel. It is the first such step Brussels has taken against the major online form since this year's introducing the Digital Service Act, a sweeping piece of EU legislation that cracks down, that heightens the online companies' responsibility for content moderation. An explosion rocked a fuel depot in Guinea capital Conakry on Monday, injuring dozens of people, according to a doctor and a local resident. The explosion, accompanied by a fire, occurred shortly after midnight in the administrative and business district of Kaloum near the port. According to reports, the explosion sent thick black clouds of smoke into the sky on Monday morning as residents fled the area where the blast occurred. Witnesses said dozens of civil protection vehicles had reached the area, but Guinean authorities did not immediately comment on the situation. Stranded residents sheltered on the hospital roof as flash floods swamped northeastern Australia on Monday, with raging waters surveying roads and flushing crocodiles into towns. Rescue teams evacuated more than 300 people overnight, police said. The military helicopters were dispatched to help in inundated areas cut off by the floods. The Australian military used heavy lifting Chinook helicopters to ferry supplies and personnel into flood-stricken towns. Police Commissioner Carroll said authorities were thankful they had not seen any death or serious injuries during the emergency so far. A man went missing and thousands of people in Philippines were sheltering in evacuation centers today as tropical storm Jelawat hit the large southern island of Mindanao, causing scattered flooding and power cuts. The storm weakened as it raked across the Mindanao after making landfall in the morning, but the state weather service said the threat of floods and landslide remained. Police in Mane municipality, where Jelawat made a landfall, reported one man missing at the swollen Kasaoman River that besets the coastal town of about 40,000 people. Kenya and the European Union on Monday signed a long-negotiated trade agreement to increase the flow of goods between the two markets. President William Ruto said, as Brussels pursues stronger economic ties with Africa, the Economic Partnership Agreement will give Kenya duty-free and quota-free access to EU, its biggest export market. Meanwhile, European goods will receive progressive tariff reductions. EU Chief von der Leyen said the partnership was a win-win situation for both sides and called on other East African nations to join the part, which came after years of negotiations that concluded in June. In business, only 0.1% of targeted poor and vulnerable households have received the federal government's recently launched cash transfer of 25,000 naira per month. This is according to data from the World Bank's lead economist for Nigeria, Alex Sianat, during his presentation of the Nigerian Development Update. According to his presentation document, the federal government plans to make cash transfers to low-income households paying 25,000 naira per month for 3 months. Sianat disclosed that currently 1.5 million households have received money, and the program is expected to reach 5 million households by the end of December. The Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education TET Fund, Sonny Echonu, said the board has disbursed over 400 billion naira to tertiary institutions across the country in 2023. Echonu disclosed this on Monday in Makurdi while speaking to journalists during the TET Fund Management Retreat. He said that the amount represented the backlog of previous years that were not assessed and disbursement for the ongoing year. Echonu said the funds disbursed were in 2 phases, and the first phase was in 2023, with the approved disbursement in the neighborhood of about 320 billion naira. Echonu further added that TET Fund cannot be extended to private institutions for now due to extant law of the country. The Senate has called for an independent budgetary provision for the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, by separating its budget from the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Chairman, Senate Committee on Diaspora and Non-Governmental Organization Victor Ume made the call on Monday in Abuja while presenting budget defense report of the committee before the Appropriation Committee. He stated Nigerians in diaspora contributed to the nation's development maximally, adding that $24 billion was remitted to Nigeria in 2022 by Nigerians living abroad. The Nigerian Communications Commission has directed MTN Nigeria, Airtel and other telecommunications firms to fully bar phone lines without national identity numbers and those whose names have not been verified. This was disclosed in a corporate notice that MTN Nigeria filed with the Nigerian Exchange Limited, revealing the directive from NCC and the attached deadlines for the barring. In a statement signed by its company secretary, Otto Okbana, stating that it is part of an industry-wide directive that requires phone lines for which the subscribers have not been submitted their names to be barred on or before 28 February 2024. With regard to names that have been submitted but not verified, such lines are to be barred on or before 29 March 2024. Where 5 or more lines are linked to unverified name also will be barred. Let's join the sports there for more sports stories. Fans, welcome to another exciting edition of Sports News Updates. Let's begin from Old Trafford, where the big story says Manchester United could finally confirm Sir Jim Ratcliffe's £1.25 billion investment before Christmas. Mike Keegan has told Mail Sports it's all kicking off show. The fans hoping Ratcliffe's arrival will lead to a big-name January players' arrivals and large-scale improvement to Old Trafford are likely to be disappointed. Ineos billionaire Ratcliffe is poised to take a 25% stake in United and control of football operations. There is hope the injection of cash will enable United to keep pace with rivals such as Manchester City, Liverpool and Arsenal in the Premier League and compete in Europe. And moving on to the Gunners, we've got the big story that Arsenal star Bukayo Saka has donated 50 containers to help provide shelter for 255 people impacted by the devastating earthquake in Morocco. Morocco was struck by its biggest earthquake in over 120 years in September, killing at least 3,000 people. The provinces of Al-Haus and Taroudant were among the most affected regions by the disaster, with the earthquake having registered 7.2 on the Richter scale. Saka has worked with the charity Big Shoe to provide much needed shelter for 84 families in a small village in the Taroudant region. The village alone saw 42 people die in the natural disaster. And moving on to Spain, when it rains in Spain, it pours. Yes, the big story says Ukraine forward Artem Dovbyk scored twice as Girona wrote another chapter of their Cinderella story on Monday with a dominant 3-0 win over Alaves to leapfrog Real Madrid and reclaim top spot in the La Liga standings. The lowly Catalan side have forged ahead and sit alone at the top of the standings on 44 points, 2 ahead of Real Madrid and 9 clear of last season's champions Barcelona in third. Dovbyk opened the scoring in the 23rd with a close-range strike from a rebound of the goalkeeper, and Porto extended their lead just before the break with a fine first-time effort from the edge of the box. Ukrainian Dovbyk scored the third from the penalty spot after Jan Kuto was fouled inside the box in the 59th minute. The win was Girona's 14th in 17 games, a remarkable run that has fueled belief they are equipped to challenge for the maiden title only 2 seasons after gaining promotion to the top flight. Let's talk tennis. The long-running feud between polarizing tennis star Nick Kyrgios and Boris Becker has gone nuclear, with the Aussie bringing up the German champions Gael Stint in their online war of words. The pair have been firing shots at each other since 2020, when Becker called Kyrgios a rat over his comment on fellow tennis professional Alex Zverev during the COVID pandemic. That kicked off a lengthy stoush between the two, with Kyrgios calling him a donut court at one point. Becca taunted Kyrgios again earlier in 2023, questioning whether he was telling the truth about the knee injury that ruled his Australian Open campaign. Kyrgios returned serve recently, saying that Becca and other greats of his era could not cut it in the modern game. All right, that's how we call it a wrap on this Sports News Update. That is it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Anthony Momodu saying thank you for watching and see you soon.